Is it record to cloud?
I have started recording.
Okay, you have started recording. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's see the participants. Just introductions. I think Kevin has joined as well. Hi, Kevin. Hi.
Hey guys.
Gudio. Am I pronouncing it right? Gudio, right?
What?
Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Guido.
Guido. Okay. Guido, on the call is Kevin. Kevin is also working in Airbus. He's working in the communications department.
Yeah, so working in Central Research and Technology Group. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, Guido.
Hi, Kevin. You are also invited to our first space stamping tomorrow at 11:30 at Asamschlossen.
Ah, okay. Whereabouts are you?
Asamschlossen. It's near Thalkirchen.
Ah, okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to. I have a lunch already planned. But thanks for the invite.
It's a Stammtisch, so we meet every Sunday at 11:30 at Asamschlossen.
Ah, okay.
And I have been inviting people from Ariane, Airbus, IABG, Isar Aerospace, Rocket Factory Augsburg. So it's like Munich Space Community Stammtisch. It's
okay.
It's a bit old school way of in talking to each other. So it's really drinking a beer.
Yeah, sure.
But it's you're welcome to come, and you're welcome to spread the word to your colleagues. It's every Sunday 11:30. Only the last Sunday of each month there is no Stammtisch.
Okay, great.
And within the call is my mother as well, Thakore. And we also have Ashish.
Hello, everyone. Kevin knows me. I think I introduced last time. Hello, Guido. Sorry to spell it.
No problem, no problem.
Can you repeat again, please?
What do you want me to repeat?
Your name?
Guido.
Guido. Right.
Guido. Yes.
Sorry?
Guido.
Guido. Yeah. All right. Where are you from?
I'm from Italy.
Ah, okay. So I am speaking from UK today, and I run a network which is called Global Sustainable Futures Progress to Partnership Network. And we are early career researchers mainly, but we also have NGOs, businesses, and startups and others joining us. And we have adopted SDGs as our framework so that we can accommodate all section and society of the world. And we are 800 coordinators from 105 countries. And here Ashish is one of our coordinator from India, and I will allow him to introduce.
Maybe Ashish, you're on mute.
Yes, my name is Ashish Kelkar. I am from India, and my company name is The New Urbanism Planners and Designers. I'm into planning and architecture, and I've been into this field for last 19 years. And recently, I've joined this network of Dr. Renuka, and I'm getting immense help from her, and I'm doing my career as best as I can.
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
And just a little bit about me. I don't know if my mother has said it already. I am an aerospace and astronautics engineer, focusing on spacecraft engineering. And currently I'm working as functional and electrical AIT for 2 projects in Airbus. Yeah. And my background is all in space engineering, basically, since I was 15. So I thought more women should have stories like mine, and more girls should be involved in the STEM sector, because in the recent times we've seen quite a decline of interest in STEM subjects from girls and kids in general. So we're trying to develop a kind of platform where we develop activity packages and incentives for personal as well as institutional use. So schools can use our activity packages and get students more involved in STEM subjects. So that's what we are here today. And I think we also have Francesco. Francesco? Sorry, there might be a strange noise on my side because my dishwasher's on. Yeah.
No, there is Sandra also there.
Yeah. Yes, Sandra. Maybe you guys are on mute.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. And thanks for joining. Sandra used to work in Galileo Control Center before, and that's where we met. But for quite a short time, and then
Actually, I'm still working on Leo.
Oh, really?
I was spacecraft operations engineer, the control center, and then I worked for Space Hall, and I did that for 5 years, and I moved as a contractor to ESA about a month ago. So I work on the GC deployment now.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Technical background, space ground systems, like you. I have 2 daughters, and I think it should be more girls. It should be more natural to girls to do that instead of being objective.
Very true. And that's actually I will start now because we've waited for 10 minutes. So this roundtable, I want to focus on basically how to engage more girls into STEM. Can you guys see my screen, the PowerPoint presentation? Yes. Okay. So this session I wanted to.
Yes, we can see, but if you want to put it on a slideshow.
Okay. I will be taking notes from it as well, so that's why I put it that way, but there you go. Yeah. It's a little bit awkward here. Okay. Right. So last roundtable, the first one was basically to introduce this initiative. And from the last roundtable, I found that most of the participants wanted to focus on how to engage more girls into STEM sector. So focusing on ages, let's say 8 to 13. This age group is quite is where we can make an impact, because at the age of 13 they will select their subjects that they want to take as a major subject. So at least in the UK, we have something called GCSE. And this is where the girls or kids select science, maths, and IT subjects. So which are the subjects that you need in order to do the A levels, which is basically a gymnasium in Germany. And from there, they go to university. So if we have more, let's say, activity packages for this age group, then you're already ensuring that they are interested and you keep their interest alive through at least through university. So I thought we could start with this age group for today. And yeah, just I think most of you know me here. Yeah, I am starting this initiative of a forum to get more women into STEM subjects, or girls into STEM subjects, but also have a platform where early career and mid-career women can come together and solve issues that they might be having at work, or some gender biases that they might experience. And it should not be that the only channel for us to deal with this is to go to HR, because that's just basically asking kind of like work cops to come in and and deal with this. Whereas there should be a platform where we can find solutions and also impact other lives in order to overcome their gender biases, and so that not only the generation after them, but even the kids around them, girls that are growing up within their family, have the support that they need from everyone around. Right. So just very quick before we start, I started a Dropbox like a organization just to organize how we will work. And I thought best to split groups into ages 8 to 18, 18 to 35, 35 to 55. So basically, as I said before, 8 to 18 is when you ensure that they end up in university with a STEM subject. 18 to 35 is for early careers and mid-careers. Well, basically like me, I had support throughout my life from my parents, my sister, who also is an engineer. And if I did not have that, if I was just interested in engineering or science topics and did not have the support I had, then who would I have contacted? And this question is also for a lot of girls out there. And unfortunately, even through university, there are the majority of professors are men. So it's also very difficult for during university and early career for women to speak up about the issues that they are dealing with. The age group from 35 to 55 would be for mid-career to senior career. And this would basically be kind of like channels that I want to build in order to basically get to have more women get to a management position. So what are I mean, I have no experience in that yet. And that is why I want to build the network so that when I come to that age, I have the support I need. So it's, yeah. For that, I thought best would be to use Dropbox, but this is just a framework in order to come up with packages that institutes and personally you can use. Okay, so yeah, so for this session, we will focus on age 8 to sorry, there's a typo here, 8 to 17, I think I have, yes, 8 to 17. And as I said before, that 8 to 12 is when you can grow the interest. 12 to 15 is basically continuing the interest or strengthening it, because this is the age where most girls and kids they turn teenagers and they lose interest in things that are hard. So in order to what can we do to basically grow that competitiveness that is required, that drive that is required to tackle the hard subjects and go into more kind of like further calculus or further mathematics. So yeah, this is also very critical age. And 15 to 17 is basically to make sure that the grades, I mean, this is the age where you have a lot of exams and there is a lot of stress, and to find activities that while continues their drive, but it also is fun, because that is what you need to ensure, that kids are working hard, of course, but they're having fun with it.
T, just to interrupt here for a quick second, this group should be 8 to 18, correct?
Sorry? Yeah. This is 8 to 18, 17, 18. I just wrote 17. I started my university quite early, so that is what was in my head.
Okay.
So I started when I was 17. I started university, so that's why it's a typo. This is supposed to be 18, and also here should be 18.
Okay.
Okay, and so now we can start the discussion. So anyone, I will actually go decrease the thing, and I will take notes here. So Sandra, I had a really nice chat with you on LinkedIn at least, and you mentioned that one of the things that is missing in German society at least is parents going through schools and talking about their work, correct?
I'm entertaining children and cooking in the back, just so everyone's aware that I might get distracted. Yes. What I know from the US, what they do is that sometimes they have like parent entertainment or parent job days, or however they call them. I'm not entirely sure. Where the parents go into the classes and tell the children about their particular job. And I mean, it's for one thing that they do that also with smaller kids, I think. Not sure which age exactly, but definitely before they actually start thinking about careers. And I personally find that a really great thing, where the moms and dads, whatever jobs they do, go into the school and tell them, well, I work on, I don't know, building cars, or I work on, ideally, building spacecrafts or rockets, or I don't know, whatever it might be, giving the kids an idea of what parents are doing. And I think that's a great, it can be a great influence for kids to see not only dads having STEM careers, but also having moms having STEM careers. And I think that is something, at least, that I'm not aware of that they do in Germany. So I think that will be something for children to actually have, I can't think of the English word right now, a role model, that's the word.
Okay.
Having a role model to actually look up to, that there's other women, or that there are women who actually do STEM jobs and not just the guys, which is still mostly the case.
Yep, I also think that is a really, really good initiative by US, and I think this is also the case in the UK. And in the UK, they also invite universities groups. So if you're running something like UK sets or KU sets or something like this, which is students in, I mean, I think it was students in engineering department or something like that. But if you're running a group, then you can come and do a presentation, and then you do an activity with kids like rocket launching. So kids build a mock rocket, so with paper, and then you take a kind of a pump, and it's like a competition, like how far your rocket can go, and then you explain them a little bit about aerodynamics, and yeah. So this is kind of activities that I did at university, because I was part of the UK sets, and also whenever we did our rocket launches, so they're like, you know, UCRA level 1 rockets, so they're like a small model rockets, but they have like fuel in them, and we invited kids to come watch as well. So that was a really good activity that we did. But no, this was on my mind. And there was another thing where US does, is to bring kids to work day. So kids can actually see what their parents do, and it can be mothers bringing their kids to work day, or the other way around. But at least this involves kids to see the premises of where we work and take a tour of where their parents work. That was also quite a nice activity that they do. So this is basically for age group like 8, 8 to I would say 15 even. Any other ideas?
I'm not sure if you know about this. In Germany, we have the Girls' Day. I don't know if you are involved as well.
No, what is it?
As I know, in the universities, that at least we do that. We have the Girls' Day, that girls come and participate in some activities in university.
Okay. So what kind of activities?
Science stuff, like they see what the project, probably different models, depends on the group really. But there is a Girls' Day.
Okay.
I was involved once, so I'm not sure if it's like something regional, if it's something everywhere in Germany, but we did have a Girls' Day.
I think Airbus wanted to do that, and they asked me to prepare some presentation, but then it was just I think it was just before COVID, and their trip
did not have it last year. Last year, because of COVID, we did not have it, but I think in 2019, for example, we had a Girls' Day. I'm not sure how long it goes back. Not really sure about the details.
Okay, and I mean, we were basically just going to give a presentation, which I would have made it interesting, but it's we wanted to show them like like an activity, because we focus on optical instruments at in my department. So we wanted to do like a small activity where they look from they build like a small telescope and they have to identify what is written like in far, see and tell us what is written in the far. But it's, I don't know, in my opinion, it was not the not something that I would get really excited for if I was a kid.
Well, I mean, I think if the I don't know, event is there, you can actually discuss the content or get in touch. I'm not sure who is doing it, but if there is actually something that's happening regularly, it's something that you might want to get involved and or direct it to a different way, or because it's something there. I mean, I do like to get involved with things that are already there. And maybe help with them.
But this would be a really good day to kind of see if whatever we develop in the end is a success or not. You know. So right now everything is online, at least. I mean, kids are going back to school, yes, but to do like field trips and stuff like that, at least as far as I know, I don't know how what you guys think, but it's still restricted, right?
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
So it would be really cool to have something like a online activities. Yeah, where sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, online activities where yeah, we need to come up with some. And that's why you guys are here. So
the other thing I did a few times was this Skype with a scientist kind of thing, which was very, I mean, at least in one occasion that was very nice, because it was an Italian high school teacher who was trying to actually talk about this in school with both boys and girls that know that about the equality issues and STEM education in girls. And I think they ended up like they did a series of interviews with different female scientists, and actually I think they made finally a short movie or something out of that.
Oh wow! Okay.
In Italy, so that was also nice. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good idea of Skype a scientist, or you know, it can be like an engineer or.
Yeah, that was a name. I'm not a scientist, so they involved me. The scientist thing is just a name.
Yeah. No, but it's also like has a ring to it, right?
Yeah.
Skype a scientist. Yeah, and also that a few years ago, I think it was with it was Toma or Luca. When they came back from space, they did like activities like this. Was call an astronaut. I think at ISU we did a call like this. Yeah. I was also thinking that like in order to if you're talking like online activities, then something like a game where they have to control like a rover, something like that. Like move the rover, or like some a game like that. Focusing more on controls. Yeah, Does anybody else have an idea?
We can also, I mean, this also, again, is something that applies to Germany. I don't know how it works elsewhere. We get high school students as interns.
Yeah.
To be honest, at least in our institute, it's mostly guys that I'm seeing that they come. I mean, I think it was one occasion that I saw a girl coming to the Space Systems Institute. But I mean, that might be something of a mentoring as well, if you just issue a call to get high school interns, from a female scientist at university or female researcher anyway.
Another would be like to if I don't know if it is like for summer or for day or
no, it was like a 2-week period that they would come and they would get a task, get involved in what we're doing. Some of them actually did a pretty good job, but we did lack girls, to be honest.
But I mean, you can also open the channel only for girls as well. Like that's
what I'm saying. Like a specific opportunity that female scientists get this 2-week have a high school student in the research environment, get them involved. That's something, as I said, we do have in Germany. They should do something, I guess, high school students.
Yeah.
But it's not specific to having a female mentoring a female student. I think if we do create that channel, it might be something good for mentoring at least.
Yeah. Yes, and I remember doing that. I was doing an internship for 2 weeks when I was 16. And the thing about these internships is that everyone has to select their own and I think write an application. I think it's the first time we had to write some form of CV of interest or something and then create an application, and we chose our own location where we wanted to do that. And I guess at that point you already run into the problems that the boys choose the STEM and the girls don't. So in order to be able to get a girl into doing that, you might have to address the school at the beginning of the school year and maybe put out a specific call for girls to go to STEM and actually already provide offers rather than waiting for them to apply.
Exactly. That's my point. I think if we just, I mean, it's happening, but I think automatically most of the boys come to places like us. But if we create that specific channel or offers from a female mentor that's offering that internship, I think it's somehow might be helping or at least inspire some girls.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. That would be really nice. So what age was this? Like 16?
High school, yes, around 15, 16.
Okay.
At least the ones I had in 2018, 2019 were this age.
Okay.
So I'm just looking here at our list. I mean, these internships certainly are geared towards older kids.
Yeah.
But what I'm finding in our list here is that they're all specific events.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I feel are good. It's nice to have the immersive experience. But what I think would be worthwhile for us to examine is how can we create ubiquitous access to these topics, right? How can we interweave the idea of getting girls involved and encouraging girls to stay involved in STEM topics on a daily, weekly basis? So I'm thinking along the lines of, can we locate a curriculum list or a list of in-class activities that we could then present to teachers or discuss with the teachers. I'm just thinking, like, in my daughter's case, for example, could there be an opportunity for me to go to her teacher and say, hey, listen, like, how are you approaching the topic of STEM in particular with girls? Because I know in her class, I mean, it's, there are 4 boys in a class of 25. So there you have, from a women in STEM perspective, you have fertile ground because you have a majority of girls, right? But I don't know, again, being a foreigner in Germany, I'm not as familiar with how STEM topics are taught at this age. My daughter being 7, so right now, of course, she's just getting introduced to maths. I guess that's really the only topic at the moment that is explicitly STEM. But I don't know about other topics or how other STEM related subjects are interjected into the standard curriculum. So I'm just wondering, is that something that we could create here on this platform? Is a set of resources for elementary school kid teachers to say, here is some stuff that you can pull or draw inspiration from, to have these activities such that, for example, if this is not just a parents going into school for a day to talk about their work, but perhaps we can be more engaging with the teachers to say, hey, we work in STEM topics, and would like to see more women in this field, and we'd like to start a collaboration to make that more accessible.
Yeah.
And then even further to that, I mean, I know that in Germany there's the afternoon care, as kids finish their regular schooling, and then they go to this afternoon care, which is also a potential outlet. Challenge there being is it's often parent run, parent organized, so you don't have necessarily teachers specifically, but yeah, as I said, I just feel like we need to come up with a strategy that kind of is a persistent presence of STEM, and the attraction or the excitement that potentially comes with it as later in life.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they've changed the curriculum of STEM over the past year since I've gone to school, but
Sure.
I know that we didn't have physics and math until 7th grade. Physics and chemistry, we only had math until then, and biology I think we got in 5th grade, but there was really nothing there before that. And what I've seen in Munich is that they have a summer class course for children to learn how to program, and I found that really great. You can go there for a week, and they teach the kids, obviously, and it's starting at 5, I think. They teach the kids what do I have to put into a computer, the simple stuff, and in the end they get a robot to move around the room, basically. And that sounded really great, and I don't know if that would be something that could be offered as afternoon classes, because our kids get lots of afternoon classes, and I mean, now they get a course over nature and how to save the environment, which is all great and good, but it's not really STEM related. And all of the other things are really only sports and such, but maybe that would be something where schools could be approached. You want to offer something like that?
But again, this I feel falls back into that one day category of event. Can we create a a narrative, perhaps is a better word for the younger kids, right? Not so much a curriculum, but can we create a narrative around their existing curriculum to say, hey, you're talking about this in class, and here's how it potentially is related to STEM, for example, right? You talk about, right now my daughter has been talking about animals, small animals and such, and like, how can you introduce or emphasize the connection to biology in the later grades, and here's what you could potentially learn, the fact that we're taking these first steps now, and sort of laying the groundwork for students to go into these subjects. You know what I mean? Like I don't know necessarily how whether these connections are made or not, or they're just kind of, yes, here is what an animal, and an animal goes and eats and whatnot. And then that's kind of it, right? Where there's no context, STEM context provided.
This is a little bit of a leap, but I think when I was 12, there was one activity in biology where we had to dissect the frogs. And I was so excited for it because I was very excited about surgery and medicine. But just, I think it was like a couple of days before we had this activity, there was a whole uproar from parents, especially coming from an Indian background where harming an animal is against the religious tides, religious notions. And so the entire activity was cancelled, and it was cancelled for all the years after. So I had heard so many stories from my sister that was so cool to do this, and you get to so they're not live, they're dead frogs. But still, it was a taboo to dissect a dead thing, a dead being in the religious ties. And while I laugh about it now, but I was very sad at that time that I had missed out on such a activity. And it wasn't just me, it was also like the entire class. But if that kind of activities were introduced back, not necessarily dissecting a frog, but something like at ISU we did, but this is for older kids, of course, or older generation, we performed a surgery on a pig's heart. So it was just to kind of learn how to do surgical stitches in the Department of Life Sciences. So for biology, I really, it's not just about animals though, it's also about flora, no? So it would be also quite nice to have a kind of like a game where the leaf, like you have a leaf and you have to name the plant related to it. Because last weekend I went to the Munich Zoo. So it's not zoo, it's botanical gardens. And they have a part in the botanical gardens where household items are described with, so the plants from the household items, they're there. So for example, cinnamon, how cinnamon barks are produced, or cloves, tamarind, papaya, and how their leaves look. There were also curry leaf plant, also vanilla, how vanilla is produced, or how it goes from like being a fruit to something that you use in your household. And I thought that was a very, very interactive tool that they have. But I'm not sure if the schools are actually aware that you can take the kids there and explain them how the trees look at from the very common household items that you use. Do you think that would be something interesting for kids? Or
my only concern here, that I mean, these are all very interesting. My only concern is that these are not. I'm not sure how girl specific should be what we are doing.
yeah,
That's my only concern. Like, all of this is very interesting, and I think we should do that. But what we, or at least I think we should target, is the difference between how boys are addressed here and how girls are addressed here. We can definitely look into curriculum to see if there is that difference there, or if there is something to do there to actually emphasize this difference or improve it. So I think I mean, in whatever we're designing, I think we shouldn't lose the focus, which is this problem.
yeah.
Well, and what Masa is talking about there is certainly what I would be interested in. How can we make STEM something like that is an everyday thing for girls?
Exactly. I want.
Right? Yeah.
This focus is, to me, interesting. I'm not sure. I think the other concern I had is that, like, well, I mean, I know about very specific countries. I don't know much about Germany, what I've seen in the past few years only. And I know about my home country only, to be honest. So it's, I think, also good to, when we're talking about this all, to maybe think and decide on the scope of the activities we want to do, because curriculum is something, or school system is something that varies a lot, even in Europe.
Yeah.
So, and I think, I mean, when we say that, I mean, this is a very good approach to me, what Kevin said, to go there and see what's there, but then it needs a good research.
Yeah.
And for that research, we definitely need to, somehow define first our scope. And then approach that specific scope. It can be even like, if we say that we want to look in Germany or Europe, maybe having a short survey from teachers, or talking to some teachers about what they think, because I'm not a teacher. I don't have that experience. I think they do have the best experience of about their communication with the girls in their class, about the relationship between the approaches, if there is a difference, if boys react differently to something or girls react differently. I don't have that experience. I mean, I can be promoting as a female in the field. I can be promoting and trying to mentor girls, but I don't have that specific knowledge. So these are the things that to me is important. Whatever is just to having a specific scope here, and to having a good focus, and maybe doing some research from people who have that experience.
Yeah.
To Masa's, sorry, to Masa's point, I'm wondering, I think the fact that we've broken down this group of 8 to 18 is good.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if we further break it down for ourselves, that
Of
the
course.
focus from the folk that and like what Masa is talking about is how do we approach the outreach, right? What is our outreach strategy? And what I'm thinking is that for 8 to 12 was the first group I think you had.
Yeah, it's
T, sorry. So from 8 to 12, the focus is on the psychology of how STEM topics are approached, right? To Masa's point, in terms of, what is it that triggers boys to necessarily be more engaged with that versus girls? And with that in mind, and then sorry, so we have that, and then in the 12 to 15 group, then it becomes a little bit more activity oriented, not necessarily going out to a museum and such, but also activities in the classroom. And then when you get to the 15 to 18, then we talk about internships, right? Because one thing I found growing up is that, you know, you have people coming in to a high school classroom and talking about something like ISU, and then you sit there and then you find out, well, this isn't going to happen for another 4 years, for example. And to me, that is totally, you know, demotivating. Because it's like, well, why are you getting me all excited about this fabulous internship or academic program when I can't be doing it, right? So to me, I think that's how we should structure it. And to that point, my question, I guess, to Renuka would be, are there psychology papers out there, or is there research results available that describe the different, identified differences in how STEM topics are presented to boys versus girls? Is there research programs out there that define that provide explicit processes or strategies, tactics to engage girls 8 to 12 in STEM to further enhance the probability that they pursue those topics? I think that to me is what the question comes down to, is not so much how do we create the environment. I mean, that's part of it. How do we create this environment where STEM topics are ubiquitous in everyday life? Like, taking our daughters, or well, kids in general, and saying, look, hey, look at how a tree grows, and look at what an animal does, and look at there's the moon, and all these kinds of things. So there are these opportunities, but how to capitalize on that by creating the right dynamic between us as the mentors and our kids to say, okay, yes, boys pick it up more quickly for whatever reason, and here's how you tailor the message, or how to approach for girls. Is there such research out there? Is there such have such methodologies been identified? That's a question to the round.
But also that I don't think we have any teachers in the round right now, as well, to kind of say that what problems that are occurring. But I do have a friend who is a teacher, and he teaches exactly middle school, so like age 8 to 15. And I think for the next roundtable, even before, I will bring him into the roundtable, because he can provide, and he's actually like teaching in Munich, so it's something that we would get, and he's been teaching in Germany for the last 12 years. So, and this specific age group, so it might be good to like ask, maybe also you have friends that are teachers as well, then we can gather their inputs, and of course put the information like in the Dropbox, or
and to the point of access to resources, a friend of mine actually through LinkedIn told me about a friend of his that's very much involved in this women in STEM and all this kind of thing, and he sent me a website that apparently has a lot of good resources. I'm just trying to remember what it is. It's called ngcproject.org.
Okay. It's www.
I guess. So it's National Girls Collaborative Project.
NGC.
NGC.
Yes.
Okay.
NGC, sorry. Okay.
And advancing the agenda in gender equality.
Cool.
So yeah. So I mean, this could be a potential place where we can. I mean, there's all sorts of resources and stuff there. Maybe there's a collaboration there that that we can establish.
Yeah, of course. That's how I see this growing. So,
but but to my point, interestingly enough, I look at their scroll right now, like on the front page, and most of the pictures they show of girls are of girls, I would say, guess are 12 and older, at least, if not 15 and older. So again, I asked the question, has anybody looked in detail at the dynamics of how girls ages 8 to 12 absorb and approach STEM topics, and if that psychology has been explored, whether any recommendations have come out of it.
So I'm gonna develop something called tasks, because everybody likes.
I do like, yeah.
Sorry, I missed. I got my
Asked.
I'm gonna develop something called tasks. Have a slide where for next session.
Yeah, and actually, unfortunately, T, I have to drop off now, but just in time for the tasks.
We just would assign you.
Yeah, it's not assigning just him; it's all of us.
No, it's just joking. I was just joking.
So for the next round, Kevin, can you repeat it? Sorry.
Well, I guess, as I said, my point is I would be interested in knowing if there has been any psychological research into the subject of how girls 8 to 12 absorb STEM topics, and how they are approached with STEM topics.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm wording it quite correctly, but I think you guys understand my point, right? Like it's, basically the question is it sufficient to present STEM topics on equal footing to boys and girls in a mixed setting? Or does the message need to be tailored between boys and girls to maximize the uptake of it? Should it be, if you do tailor it, should this be in like girls groups and then boys groups? Or can you tailor it within a mixed setting?
I think these are all very valid questions.
Because at least for me anyway, my feeling is that everybody I talk to, when they talk about, see girls coming into the office, they're high school and there's hardly any girls. Okay, and then it's like when you talk in university, it's like, well, there's hardly any girls there. So to me, that says that you got to keep going back earlier. But but when you go back earlier, you lose the identification of STEM topics explicitly, right?
Yeah.
So this to me, I think is again, looking at how the message of STEM related topics are delivered to boys and girls, how it is received between boys and girls. And then on top of that is the idea of STEM topics, is that lost in, is it highlighted enough in typical elementary school curricula to say that, okay, yes, here's the exciting world of STEM and here's what you have to look forward to? Or is it just lost in the, this is a hedgehog, isn't it neat, and it eats and it does this and blah, 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 And at that point, girls look, oh, it's a cuddly animal, and boys are like, oh, look, I can throw sticks at it or something, and like, it's like that's how the topic is received. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I'll leave everybody with that, and thanks again, T, for organizing. I guess this presentation you'll put in the Dropbox.
Yes,
that you've already shared, I think.
Yes. I have shared, and if I have forgotten someone, then please just ping, and I will add. And you can. I think you also have admin rights. So if you want to add someone, you can add them. Yeah.
But I think based on what we talked about today, where we have the age groups is good, but then I think we have to identify our strategies, but now identify strategies associated with it. whereas 8 to 12 should be more of a psychology strategy, right? Looking at how these topics are absorbed. And then the 12 to 15 is more the in-class individual activities. And then the later group is the, internships or, bring your kid to work day or whatever.
So that
I think if we go and and define that as our strategies within those three groups, then I think we're on a good path.
Yeah. Okay. That's
okay.
Good, yeah.
I'll shut up now and let you guys carry on.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Okay. And individual activities. And then it was 15 to 18, and you have internships and mentoring, right?
Yeah.
Mentoring periods, let's say, time periods. Okay. Okay.
I really like the idea of focusing on psychology from 8 to 12, and I agree with him, because I am a bit under the impression that with 8 to 12 we can just barely get them back into the subject because they're still very, very interested.
Yeah.
But I have the feeling sometimes from watching them grow up that there's already so much psychology in the society going on in the background for boys and girls that it's still kind of underlying, even though not as much anymore as for sure 50 years earlier or 100 years earlier, that most moms don't have these types of jobs and most dads do, and at least in Germany lots of moms stay at home and don't work full time. I think lots of girls already grow up with the idea that STEM isn't for girls in general, and I think with 8 you can probably still catch them and turn around whatever they've learned at home, and maybe still drag out those girls that would be interested in doing STEM but might not have the idea from home that that is something a girl can pursue. So I think that would really be a good age to try and get them interested if they don't have someone at home who would encourage this.
Yeah, agreed. Very, very much so agreed. And we were in our last roundtable, we were also talking about early ages. So what are the kind of cultural and gender biases that kids face? Like, boys are given cars and video games, and girls are given Barbies and such. And
I had a car.
I had Lego. I did have Barbie when I was very, very little, and then
Never had a
I started playing with like my sister's Legos. So,
but I think that's a good thing, and maybe we should definitely start, maybe looking into it, talking to people, get more ideas of what's actually there. Because now, if I look back, I think it was also kind of when I reached middle school, I was already into STEM.
Yeah.
So it had happened before, and then I knew that I was fine. But if you reach middle school and you already have this problem of identifying yourself as someone not belonging there, I think that would be harder to try to get you back with any sort of activity, or you should have that mentality when you're becoming a teenager.
Yeah.
I remember being welcomed in 7th grade into physics class from the other girls with the words, "Oh, you don't even need to listen to that. That is much too complicated for anyone to understand." And I very, very much hope that that's not the case anymore today, because it was not. But it's still what parents often, I don't know how you see it, but if you talk to other people, other women, other mothers, and they hear what you're doing and it's scientific or it's whatever, they're like, "Oh, really? Really?"
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's too complicated. Like,
I find that extremely frustrating, and that's what society often thinks. Oh, women can do that? Really? Really?
Yeah. Why is it so surprising?
Yeah. What's wrong?
Yeah, I have a colleague, and I was talking to him, and he has 2 little girls, and he was like, yeah, but you know, I'm doing everything I can for my kids, you know, to tell them what I do. But like, he was giving me example of his friend who ask, you know, they ask, what do you do when you meet them, and then it's literally within 30 seconds they're like, oh, it's too complicated, it's fine, you don't have to explain. And and exactly, and this is the kind of I think even at a younger age we need to install this when kids have this curiosity, you know, where they're asking these questions like why. And my nephew does that quite a bit. He asks why questions constantly, and my sister, she has made a point that she always answers him, even if she doesn't know the answer. She will look it up and answer him, because that kind of curiosity you don't want to lose. Yeah, because that's the curiosity that makes you wonder about the bigger questions in life, or in science later on. And we were talking about this, and he was also saying that because things nobody wants to do things that are hard, and when it is hard they give up. And this also needs to kind of, we also need to look at the psychology of this, because kids lose interest because it becomes more harder and harder. So why are they losing the interest when it becomes harder and there is no competitiveness in them to drive them to achieve even the harder parts? For example, my mother, whenever things were hard and I'd be like, oh, but it's too hard, she'd be like, well, if you don't complete it, you're not gonna get any sweets, or you're not gonna get any sweet part of the dessert or something like that. And it was not, I don't think it was the best way to deal with the kids, but she always tried to kind of like explain in a way that I would understand, especially like and another thing was that I really liked writing on blackboards. This is very, very nerdy, but I really liked writing on blackboard. So my parents had this huge blackboard, and I used to do all the mathematical equation, like algebra and trigonometry, everything I used to do on that, so that afterwards I could look at it. And yeah, I think we should just focus on like the ages 8 to 12, but there is also the need to address beforehand a bit. Yeah.
So another thing I kind of thought about yesterday, and I'm not sure if that's actually a good idea, is
no, go ahead.
Something, yeah, it might be a pretty bad idea anyway, but then I thought about having, I don't know, having a girls club or something like that.
Yeah.
I think identifying yourself with a group is something that probably at least helps extroverts.
Yeah.
So if there is even a virtual, get together of girls, or even like a girls club that has I don't know, some sort of newspapers where they can publish, where they can write about the scientists, do some research, publish there, having prizes there, or something like that, some group that sort of gives identity.
And actually, this was a question for Sandra. Talking about publications, like I think that there are clubs which focus on the journalism part of the writing reports, you know, like at school there was a news of the school club, so they would provide this paper, and you would write articles about what was going on in the school or in the state, or something big had happened. I remember a particular article which was on the 9/11, where a lot of the newspaper, or like the teacher, wanted to focus on what the kids thought about this kind of impact on the world. And it's true that there was not much on science and technology topics, but it was more like news of the world kind of thing. But Sandra, is there something that for kids, like Reader's Digest or National Geographic or something like this? That, because growing up, my mother would make me read like Reader's Digest every month, and that gave a lot of information on technology and science, and yeah, it's basically a little bit like National Geographic for kids.
I'm afraid I don't know if there's anything like that. I know that for small kids, I know that because a friend of mine had that both in the US and in England, they have weekly magazines that you can buy with little, well, you can do arts and crafts, or you can do science experiments where kids get them mailed and then they can do the experiments at home.
Mm-hmm.
I know that exists, but I know that doesn't exist in Germany. I've tried and I've looked it up, and I tried finding something like that, especially for something like science, where I could do something with my girls maybe once a week or such, but that actually really simply doesn't exist here. So I'm not aware of any particular type of Reader's Digest or anything. I've just, something you said earlier, I started also off with my daughter asking me stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to explain that. Let me explain that when you're a bit bigger. And then I got a message from a friend of mine, and she said that her mom would used to do that with her, and she hated it because it made her feel dumb. And she recommended to me that I should explain my daughters whatever they want to know, just like you said before. And then I did that. And, you know, sometimes it was easy. And sometimes I ended up going into physical theory because I'm a physicist. So I went into theories that she for sure didn't understand, but at least I talked to her. And now when I get feedback from her, she's like, yeah, she loves that I explain things to her. So just the little explanations that kids get are really useful.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have books at home about strong women, or we have physics or chemistry sets at home where they can do small experiments and stuff, but I'm not aware of any type of particular book or anything that you would get where I could have the girls read something like that.
Yeah, because that kind of like newsletter would be a very good idea, and something that we could actually develop, like you know, newsletter for kids, or even newsletter for girls, like science news for girls or something like this. And we can focus on current happenings, current or even like even if somebody wants to like write a small article on what they are doing, you know, and what is
that's good.
Yeah.
That's
And that would really like I mean, I have such a big network, and everyone in my network now, not everyone but most, are having kids. And so even if we target that small amount of group, we're still making an impact. And if there is something that parents can just print and read before bedtime, something like this, and of course if we even like target schools, you know, they can have in the class to read in lunch or something like that, then that's I think that still we're reaching out quite a bit, even with a small effort.
Yeah, I really like that idea. And what I've learned from my daughters is that it's very simple of what can get them interested. Like they really like explanations about how does a rainbow work? I mean,
Yeah.
why does it have the colors it has, and why is it round? Why does the sky turn red when the sun goes down? Or just the simple things. I mean, they have actually gone through the leap year and stuff like that in second grade. But I mean, there's so many more drawings or other things that you can do, just explaining them. Why does the sun come up and why does it go down, and how does, you know, where does the moon go fit into the picture and stuff like that. So I mean, there's little things that you can explain, that can get basically everyone, and especially girls interested, if they don't have anyone to explain the details to them on a child level.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's I think when I was 10, we were learning about the water cycle, how clouds are formed, and you know, the water vapor cycle. I don't know the exact name of it, but how the water from the seas, it evaporates from the sun, forms clouds, and then and I remember there was the only reason I got interested was because there was this article, and so of course, you know, you learn in class. And then I came home and I was reading this Reader's Digest from with my mom, and I got so interested in the subject that I did, like, we had something like a science exhibitions, you know, where you build a science project and you have to showcase it. And there I made like a model. Where I would boil the water, and then the water, I had like a cotton, and it would get it would collect all the moisture, which would be like the clouds, and then I would drain it so that the water is falling back into the bucket. So this kind of do they also have science exhibitions, like you know, what is it called? Showcase your science project at school?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay.
Because we did have that as well.
Huh?
We did have that as well.
You?
We did have that in school in Iran. It was part of that.
Where did you go to school?
Iran.
Which country?
Iran. That's actually the worst place. But then we did have a lot of these opportunities. We did have science in elementary school, so it wasn't only maths. It was like proper science, but it was not divided between physics or chemistry or whatever. But up to middle school. From middle school, we had divided courses: chemistry, biology, physics, maths.
Yeah, that sounds quite like our education system in India.
Right.
And I was very interested in geography and very interested in biology, chemistry not so much, and physics.
I was actually, sorry if I interrupt, I was actually just thinking of something. On Facebook, they always make commercial for something that I was considering to get my girls when they read better. It's a newsletter where you get a letter once a month. The letter is actually being addressed to the child, not to the parents, about countries around the world. And then the country around the world is being described, which I really like. And parents can buy either one to test, or they can buy, I don't know, 3 months or 6 months worth of this newsletter, depending on how much their child likes it. So you could kind of start out with one and then maybe buy 6, and if it's still interesting, you can buy another 6. But yeah, I really like that idea. It gives the parents an idea to test it. So if it's not a newsletter that would be, for example, for free, but if it would be something a bit bigger to, I don't know, maybe include some stuff for an experiment or something other than, that might be a model that could, convince parents to just, try and see how the girls like it.
We do have a lot of these models, really, at least in the space industry, right?
Yeah.
Just the ones that we build. I mean, I do that still for myself, but or for example, we had these Sophia things.
Yeah, I
They
also
are like
have
small package.
Yeah, Galileo hands around satellites, paper satellites to be built.
Yeah, I did have some of those as well.
Yeah, I think I have somewhere mascot I have. Even Eden ISS is a project that I worked my master thesis on. It's they're growing fresh produced like salads and tomatoes in Antarctica to feed the Neumeier station. And this project did like a lot of outreach as well. They actually had a mock-up at DLR, and they used to do like there was literally a constant flow of like school children coming and watching it, because they also provided it to the zoo, like the biological gardens, the botanical gardens of Bremen. Yeah.
I need to leave because I need to go to the Asamschloss to check how many people we have for tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
For the STEM teach, okay? Thank you very much for your organization.
Thanks.
Hope to see you soon at the STEM teach, okay?
Sure. Thanks.
Oh, thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
You too.
Bye. I mean, in any case, this sort of newsletter can be useful to also get girls involved.
Yeah, and I really like the idea that Sandra said. Of addressing it to the kids. Because the kids don't really get a lot of posts, so this would be quite. That shows excitement, like and of course it can also be online. A post is a lot more exciting than
one thing, but it goes out of this scope of 8 to 12, I guess. But no, I probably forget it if I don't say it now. At least in my experience, doing some sort of hands-on experience, but normal things. Like, I mean, I used to help my grandfather. He used to do woodworking. I mean, not being there in the actual work of that seems not really typical female. It was actually, as a girl, very useful to me. So, I mean, I remember my father used to, whenever he was repairing the car or whatever, he would involve me for like some stupid, silly help. But then it kind of gave me, it gave me the confidence to actually feel that I can do that. And that, this is something normal, that I go help my dad in repairing the car when I'm like 12 or 11. So
my dad did that too. Yes.
Yeah,
that was very. And now that I look back, maybe I'm looking back today too much because I lost my father.
Really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that was shocking. But now that I look back, I think that these small things that he did when I was a kid was very helpful. So I really ended up having my own woodworking workshop after that, because I was involved as a kid. I think for these might not seem STEM, but I think any sort of workshop activity would be for girls that are a bit older, maybe 12 to 15, some sort of exposure there would give the confidence that this environment is not something male per se. It can be anyone getting involved. You know, working with tools, working with machines.
Yeah. And in this case, we can also develop kind of like instructions.
Yeah.
To build small models or something like this with not with wood, I would say, because that you need like
no, whatever. I just meant, you know, working with within a workshop environment, within tools, with something that gives you, you know.
Yeah, and for this, I would also say that it's. I mean, we can develop like activities or guidelines for activities where it is a parent-child activity. Yeah. Let me just and give instructions like how, I don't know, build a ship model. Yeah, one of the things that my mother, or actually with my grandmother, I used to do. She used to have this metal boat, and whenever we were in the bath, we would put a candle on it, and when you put a candle on it, it goes like it moves. And this is very, very simple. And I always used to ask questions like, but why does it move? You know, there is no, I don't see any engine. So this kind of like and that ship was really something very easy to build. Yeah. Or something like building. My sister had this at her at my nephew's birthday. So his second birthday was like all space themed because, you know, the whole family is and he's also very, very much interested in space. And she built this a mock-up of a Apollo, which was basically like taking cardboard and drawing some control panels on it and putting it in the garden. And the kids played, I have to say, kids played for like, okay, at age of 2, having kids play for 30 minutes with something, it's like a huge deal. And the thing is, we also had older kids and they were also quite interested in it. It was just not so high for them, but something like this we can also develop is, I mean, we all have worked with spacecraft before, so we can just like find like a layout, or I don't know, blueprint of how to build a small spacecraft for, or like a Apollo module for your kids.
Yeah, so yeah, that was something that came to my mind then.
It's a very good idea. But this would be for like age early.
I think it should be like over 12, so maybe 12 to 15 kind of thing would be better.
Okay, like they do it themselves then.
Yeah, I mean, if we can also have things focused on 8 to 12, but as you said, like, you know, kid parent kind of activity, but also 12 to 15, depending on the activity. I'm just you know, thinking that this is something useful to give that confidence.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, Sandra, you can answer this like.
I don't have a kid, so.
Yeah, with scissors and stuff, you can do like cardboard models, right? With like between even from 6 onwards. Sandra?
We're just taking care of the kids.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's true.
Sorry, what?
Just what would be the ideal age to give a child
Caesar.
scissors to cut cardboard?
Scissors.
Yeah.
Ooh, not before 3 for sure. They do it in kindergarten. It's where they start learning it. I wouldn't let them alone with scissors before they're probably 5, so they don't do anything stupid or cut up stuff they're not supposed to be cutting, like hair. Yeah.
But if we're talking about like a cardboard model, like Apollo, something like they can
Something more
build,
complicated, you mean?
yeah. So 8. Oh,
Yes.
7, 8.
I guess it also depends on how much you want to have the parents involved. And that always, if you need to have parents involved, it depends on whether you have someone at home who doesn't work and who has the time to spend, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours per week with their kid, doing something. If you have 2 full-time working parents, you probably need to reduce the time for that to maybe 30 minutes or an hour max for the weekend or something. If you want to have the kids do it on their own, you should probably go more to at least 8 or 10 maybe, so they can read the instructions, follow the instructions, and have the patience to actually do it on their own, without the parents then.
True. So I think 8 to 15 is good, because then it's something that they do on their own, build on your own. Yeah. And this for me, like whenever we buy something from IKEA, this is like the opportunity for it's like a grown-up Lego, I love building IKEA stuff. And yeah,
I have the same feeling. That's my excitement when I buy something new. A new drawer. Wow.
Yeah. I put a whole day aside, just even if I don't need it. Even if it is just like half an hour still. Yeah. So I think I think we can stop. We have good material, and I don't know if Sandra, I don't know if I have your email. If you can just maybe I check on LinkedIn and I find your email. But I will also invite you to the Dropbox, and I'm on vacation from the weekend after until the start of December, but I will do a session before Christmas. And until then, I think we have good kind of start. And we can always do like a small one-to-one sessions as well in the middle to discuss what we have found, because doing it on a monthly basis, we won't make so much progress. And I foresee the roundtables as just like to discuss new ideas, but when we're working on like activities, I expect or I hope that people will volunteer their time, and we can do more on personal level. So you can of course be part of all 3 groups. Yeah, you're invited to all 3, and I think we should follow these tasks, at least this one, and look into the newsletter, because we all thought that was a good idea, and come back personally in the next weeks to see what we found. Does that sound like a good ending point for today?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's for me.
Yep. Me too.
Yeah. So yeah, this is incorrect. This was today. Yeah, I have to check which dates that I come back from, but I think it is 21. But this is to be TBD. I'm gonna. And I will send the invitation in the group for the LinkedIn for the OASIS forum of the next event. And yeah, feel free to post there whatever you find. Feel free to access the Dropbox, and yeah, we shall reconvene in a month. Yeah, thank you very much for attending.
Thanks so much for bringing people together.
Yeah, I see good things, and I really, I mean, at the moment in my work, we are literally 5 girls in a department of 80.
Yeah, same, almost same. So
that is the ratio that I'm seeing most places, and I would really like this ratio to decrease. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation, and it is definitely helpful for my daughter as well. She's yeah, she's kind of growing every day, and it is nice to see you.
Yeah, the main aim is for the future to have literally see the gender equality to like 50-50, you know.
Yes.
And if we start now, then we see it in the next 20 years. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I wish you a very nice weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for you too. Thank you, Sandra.
Thanks. Bye.
Did learn
Bye.
a few things from you today. Bye. Bye.
Bye.